Hello and welcome to the SSP MIMS 2020 Release Virtual Users Group presentation. It's been a busy and a productive cycle, and we are excited to share all of the exciting new functionality that's available to our customers with this robust release. First, let me introduce today's speakers. My name is Zoe Selkirk, representing Product Ownership, Support and Quality Assurance for SSP products, and Michael Cavill, MIMS Product Owner. For those of you joining us today that don't know Michael, he is a GIS industry veteran with decades of electric cooperative experience. Michael was a GoSync administrator for many years, and then a MIMS implementer and team lead with the system implementation team before joining MIMS product team as product owner. And we're very lucky to have him lending his MIMS and industry experience to the team in the years ahead. It's been a big year for SSP MIMS and SSP products overall, and as you can see, our organisation is evolving, bringing together both old and new faces to lend their expertise, experience and vision to the future of SSP's product line. So let's take a look at today's agenda. This release is jam-packed with GoSync to MIMS gap items, customer requests, and enhancements both in MIMS Mobile and MIMS Mobile Lite. Across MIMS, we have certified new Esri versions, including Runtime 100.6, ArcGIS Enterprise 10.7.1, and ArcGIS Pro 2.5. MIMS is also now being deployed as a 64-bit application, which has important implications for runtime performance. In MIMS Mobile, there are a number of awaited enhancements and customer-requested gap items, such as mobile map package support, which has unlocked anticipated Esri functionality in runtime, a newly reimagined attribute viewer, easy-to-configure single-line map tips, search enhancements, including multi-field, address, and intersection searches, printing powered by ArcGIS Pro layouts, numerous graphical work design enhancements driven by customer requests, material tracking and traceability for gas utilities in MIMS inspections and design, and additional persisted settings in support of user preferences. In MIMS Sync, we have important enhancements surrounding synchronization of incremental feature services, and for those interested in MIMS Mobile Lite, and in addition to implementing tracing functionality, we've responded to customer requests around improving the user experience, workflow and space management on tablet form factors. Michael and I will spend the next 20 to 25 minutes walking everyone through our list of what's new, but rest assured, you can find out more about any of these topics on MIMS portal, by contacting MIMS support, or watching our product videos on SSP Innovation's MIMS playlist on YouTube. So now we'll take a look at each item in a little more depth. MIMS previously supported mobile map packages as a base map, really a vehicle for delivering routing information such as Esri Premium Street Maps. Upgrading to ArcGIS Runtime 100.6 and providing support for mobile map packages has been the catalyst for unlocking a wealth of functionality that ArcGIS desktop and engine users have been familiar with for many years and sorely missed in runtime. MIMS Gateway now generates, maintains and synchronizes mobile map packages with MIMS field clients, and for our customers this delivers ArcMap annotation support without having to upgrade your existing annotation to ArcGIS Pro annotation. It provides group layer capabilities and also the ability to apply layer definition queries. Now Michael has a number of examples to show you the value in unlocking this functionality in runtime.
Thank you, Zoe. So let's look at each of these enhancements in detail. In MIMS 2020, you now have the ability to display annotations in MIMS Mobile. This functionality is enabled by utilizing ArcGIS Pro and publishing as a snapshot data source. As you can see here, there are several annotations being displayed on the map. And in this marked up image, you can see them called out here. In this image, you're seeing the effects of grouped layers that were configured in an ArcGIS Pro project. On the right-hand side of the project, you're seeing how they were represented in ArcGIS Pro, and on the left is the table of contents from MIMS Mobile. This new functionality allows MIMS users to turn several layers on and off in bulk. In this screenshot, you're seeing MIMS Mobile, where the map display has been configured to show symbology for poles based on a subtype field. I've marked those poles which have a subtype of 23 or lighting concrete. In this next image, you're seeing the same data, but there's been a definition query applied at the layer level in ArcGIS Pro. The definition query was set for subtype not equal to 23. And as you can see, those poles are now no longer visible on the map.
In addition to the functionality that Michael has just demonstrated that's delivered via mobile map packages, ArcGIS Runtime now also supports the use of arcade label expressions to fulfill more complex labeling needs and the application of reference scales. And this functionality is available when you are using ArcGIS Pro to create mobile map packages or publishing feature services.
Another gap item we were able to close with support for ArcGIS Runtime version 100.6 is the ability to define complex label expressions. This first image is showing how they are configured in ArcGIS Pro using an arcade expression. As you can see in the expression, I have the text feeder ID appended to the feeder ID field, a new line entry, and then the text phase concatenated with the phase designation field. And this next image shows how they actually render inside of MIMS Mobile.
So let's move on to searching. Enhancing search has been an ongoing endeavour for the MIMS team, not just to close the gap between GoSync and MIMS Mobile, but also move us towards feature parity between MIMS Mobile and MIMS Mobile Lite. MIMS 2020 now includes multi-field searching per layer, and it allows the user to use conditionals for fine-grained control over the search that they want to perform on the client. We also now have a coordinate search, and that allows the user to search by X, Y, or lat long. And then importantly, we have address and intersection searches, and that uses those locators that you create in ArcGIS Pro and serve to MIMS field clients in the mobile map packages that we talked about that MIMS can create, maintain, and synchronize. And we've made sure to aid all of this by modifying the search configuration user interface in MIMS mobile configuration so that you can quickly get this up and running and served out to your field clients. And Michael has some of those examples next.
In this next demo, I'll be showing the first of our new search enhancements, the multi-field search. With this functionality, you'll be able to configure multiple fields to search on per layer. This enhancement can be considered a replacement to the existing basic search, which is still available for backward compatibility. However, we recommend that you migrate to the new multi-field search as it provides a better user experience. In this example, I've configured 4 fields to search on against for the Fuse feature class. Let's select that from the multi-field search, select the layer. You'll notice that the phase designation field is driven by domain values, so we present a drop-down list of all applicable domain descriptions. You'll also notice in the date created and customer count fields that I have conditionals that I can enter, either greater than or less than or like. So now I'm going to select phase B and I'll get a result set back. Next thing I'm going to do is filter down even more by entering a value for feeder ID. I'm entering a value of 14. I'm now going to select a conditional greater than or equal to and enter a date. And again, the list is filter down even more. And then finally, for customer count, I'm going to select a value of greater than 4. And once again, the list is filtered one more time. You could see I can click the column headings to sort, and I can also group by any column simply by dragging it to the middle bar. And right now you're seeing it grouped by feeder ID. And of course, clicking on any of the values in the result set will navigate the map to that feature. In this next demo, we're going to perform a coordinate search. I'm going to select coordinate search from the search type dropdown, and you'll be presented with entry fields for X and Y values. You can either enter X and Y coordinates in map units or decimal longitude and latitude values. So let's walk through this search based on an XY map unit search. As you can see, you can enable the Show Coordinate tool also to validate the results. Next, we'll enter values for longitude and latitude. And as you can see, the map automatically zooms to those locations. In this last demo, we're going to perform an address search. This option will automatically enable if you created a snapshot data source from an ArcGIS Pro project that contained a configured locator or composite locator. If the data made available to a particular config group does not contain a locator, then this option will be disabled. So in this first example, I'm going to do an intersection search for 5th and 9th. And as you can see, I quickly get results back that have a ranking. I can click on a result set and be zoomed to that location in the map. The next address is going to be a straight single address search for 505 Northeast 10th Avenue. And again, I get a series of listings that have a ranking that I can click on and be navigated to in the map view.
Attribute Viewer is a popular tool in GoSync Mapbook that allows admins to configure targeted subsets of related features and attributes to display to the user on a selection. So it's really a more focused identify tool. Now this tool has been reimagined from MIMS 2020 and it's accompanied by a configuration user interface that includes highlighting single layer attributes as map tips on hover.
Okay, in this first image, you're seeing the configuration screen for the attribute viewer and map tips. One thing I wanted to point out is that any features that have relationships to either other features or business tables are displayed in a hierarchical tree view. If you look at the polls layer that I've expanded, you can see the related layers, which include service point through light. This gives you the ability to show data from a related feature or table with its parent inside the result set of Attribute Viewer. Okay, so let's switch to MIMS. On the map toolbar down here at the bottom, you can see two tools for the Attribute Viewer and the map tips, and the map tips is actually a toggle. You can see here on the right that I've had map tips enabled for the circuit map grid. Now I'm going to zoom in to a location on the map. And as you can see, I can click on individual features with the Attribute Viewer tool. And on the left-hand side, it'll display the results. And you can see here for polls and transformer bank that you can also see the related tables. I've now used the lasso tool to circle several features, and any feature that was configured to be used with Attribute Viewer, those results show up in the panel. And again, you can see here that I'm cycling through the transformer bank feature class and then the polls and service points that are related to that feature. Same thing here for the polls. I could cycle through each of the polls that I circled, and the Attribute Viewer will display any related data. Same thing here on service points. And as I click, each one is highlighted in the map view on the right.
So let's move on to talking about graphical work design in MIMS Mobile. Prior to MIMS 2020, design configuration was a manual operation, and MIMS team did everything that we could to document it fully and provide templates to get things set up quickly via the system implementation team, but we really wanted to get there in terms of providing an easy to use interface to help you configure and maintain design going forward. So we've achieved that. And MIMS configuration now includes a user interface for design that will import your existing configuration to make it backwards compatible. But what it really helps to do is reduce that time to set up and maintain your configuration, and it streamlines the workflow by automating pre-population of many of the standard configuration settings. You can add redline layers and configure an advanced text editor for callouts within each design. And MIMS team has published updated implementation templates to MIMS portal that will really help our implementers get started even faster than before. Looking at MIMS graphical work design on the client, we've really continued to offer enhanced, easy to use design solutions for those field and office workflows. And SSP MIMS team have incorporated a number of feature requests in MIMS 2020, and those include a relocate work function, and that is now in addition to the existing remove and replace work functions. We have the advanced text editor for callouts. We have implemented a very easy to use drag and drop function that merges work locations and compatible units. It really gives that user great control over the design that they're creating in that solution. We have filtering and we have display of design features by the work function itself so that it's easy to view them by work functions if you're using those. And then we've got an auto-generated design summary that includes the materials list for the design that field crew has created. So there's a lot of new rich functionality in MIMS design that is way too much to discuss in a single slide, and Michael now has a brief overview of these items, but we do strongly encourage you to take a look at MIMS portal or contact SSP to set up a full demo for MIMS design if you see something here that you'd like to know more about.
Okay, thank you, Zoe. So let's look at some of the new graphical work design functionality. In this demo, we're going to start with relocate. I've zoomed into an area that I'll be working with and will initiate a new design. We're going to relocate this service to the other side of the building. So I'll select the relocate function and draw a lasso around the features that I'm going to interact with. So you'll notice it automatically creates work locations, and based on the defining attributes in the assets, MIMS will automatically pull in the CUs. Because the pole is offset from the vertex, you'll see two work locations here. So let's look at the new drag and drop merge functionality. I'm going to merge these two install work locations and these two remove work locations. The other thing I'm going to do is we're not replacing the pole in this instance, so I'll uncheck it and do the same thing for the install. Next, you'll notice the draw geometry icon, the pencil here, which will allow me now to relocate this span. So once I select it, I can draw my new location, and it will automatically update. So now everything looks good, so we will add these features to the design. Next, let's look at the callout, advanced callout and text functionality. So with that tool selected, I'm going to draw where I want the text to appear. And we can change the color and the text size the style, and also the font. The next thing I want to show is the material summary list. So if I click on the Summary tab and select the work area, you'll notice in the bottom panel, I now have a list of all the materials that are part of this design, both install and remove. I can also filter this list by work function. So if I click install, I'll only see the install work locations, and the same thing for remove. These filters also work in conjunction with adding design features. So if I have install selected, I can add when I add a new work location, you'll notice by default that work function comes back as an install. And I could do the same thing here by selecting remove. And by default, that work function, because of the filter, comes back as a remove. The user still has the ability, however, to override the work functions. So these are just some of the new pieces of functionality that have been added to graphical work design. And as Zoe mentioned, if you'd like to see more information, please head over to the MIMS portal for complete documentation on all the features and functionality that exist within the graphical work design feature set. Thank you.
Moving on to something a little different now, let's discuss briefly material tracking and traceability enhancements for gas utilities that we've made available for facility-based inspections and design workflows in MIMS Mobile. So field crews can now capture gas equipment barcodes using handheld barcode scanners. MIMS Mobile will deconstruct those ASTM F2897 barcode values and automatically field copy those values into inspections or design fields. MIMS 2020 includes that configuration user interface to easily apply those barcode fields to attributes in your design features or your inspection features, and the templates to do that are provided on MIMS Portal just to help aid and simplify that deployment if this is a feature that you'd like to use. And Michael has an example of that now.
In this demo, I've configured barcode decoding as part of a valve inspection. I'm searching for a particular valve, and then I'm going to start a facility-based inspection. So I've located it. I'm now starting my inspection on that device. And now I'm going to switch the map view to fulls so we could see the form. I'm going to place my cursor in the barcode field, and as soon as that entry is made, the barcode field copy plugin will fire and fill in all the applicable fields automatically. In this image, we can see all the required fields that are necessary to enable this functionality. And to simplify deployment, we've included them in the design templates. You'll find a point and line feature class which contain the necessary fields, which can be appended to existing design feature classes or facility inspections, depending on the workflow. Also included in the template are the actual lookup tables utilized by the gas barcode field copy plugin.
Printing is another gap item that has been resolved in MIMS Mobile. MIMS team collaborated with one of our customers to design and implement this functionality in a forward-facing way, taking advantage of pre-existing layouts in ArcGIS Pro, and then providing maximum flexibility by creating, maintaining, and syncing those templates with MIMS field clients. Multiple layouts support variances in page size and orientations, and there's a preview functionality that allows the user to pre-check and adjust the features that will be included in a print to reduce paper and print waste.
Okay, thank you, Zoe. So in this next demonstration, I have MIMS open and I've navigated to an area of the map that I would like to print. When I click the print icon, I'm presented with the list of any layouts that were defined in my mobile map package. When I hover over either one, you'll notice a print preview box, which is a thick blue border, being overlaid on the map display. When you select print, a Windows print dialog will open and you could select a printer from your list. If you select the save option, you'll be prompted for a location and file name from a standard Windows dialog, and I'll save this file so we can take a look at the output. You'll notice a title block and various text blocks, along with a couple of dynamic text boxes for map units and credits at the bottom. These are based on the settings in your Pro project. While we can technically have a dynamic north arrow, they are not rendered as dynamic through runtime just yet. So if the user is aware not to have the rotate map option turned on, they can still use north arrows.
Persisted settings is a gap item that MIMS team are steadily closing, and for MIMS 2020 we have included layer visibility and window size and position in the list of preferences that persist on a client now per user. So users can now set their layer visibility in MIMS mobile table of contents, and those preferences will be saved between sessions, and this specifically was a recurring request that we are pleased to have incorporated in this release.
Okay, in this next video, I'll be demonstrating the persistence of both layer visibility as well as window size and position of the MIMS application. I'm starting up MIMS in a default state where all the layers are enabled and we're viewing the map at its full extent. I'm going to turn off a few layers, and as I do, you'll see them drop from the map display. Next, I'm going to zoom into a particular area on the map. And now I'm going to change my window size and dock it to the right side of the screen. And I will exit MIMS and relaunch it. And as you can see, my layer visibility and map extent and window position all remain intact.
Next, let's look at MIMS sync enhancements surrounding data synchronization that we believe are going to be beneficial to all customers. These enhancements targeted two specific improvements. First, to decrease bandwidth usage when new data sources are generated on MIMS Gateway and need to be deployed to your field clients. And then secondly, to prevent any data loss in editing or design workflows when those new copies are deployed. So MIMS Sync will now cache copies of new data sources locally and deploy them only when there are no locks on the data being replaced. So that means just single transfer of a new data source. MIMS Sync now also optimistically uploads your local edits to ArcGIS Enterprise before attempting to overwrite a local data source with a new copy. And if that optimistic sync fails, it will back up your local copy and upload it to MIMS Gateway for post-processing, preventing any data loss. So those are two very specifically targeted improvements that we think all customers will benefit from moving forward. Our next update involves an upgrade to 64-bit. The MIMS 32-bit client has been deprecated in favour of 64-bit. The evolution of MIMS and ArcGIS Runtime has really seen an increasing need for additional memory allocation to keep up with performance requirements and graphics rendering efficiencies. And through collaboration with Esri on the best path forward to ensure that our customers retain the speed and the performance that Runtime provides, it really led us to this recommendation. And we are pleased to have fully certified MIMS 64-bit for MIMS 2020. So changing gears slightly, let's move on now to MIMS Mobile Lite. There have been some very exciting changes in MIMS Mobile Lite for 2020. As well as gaps between GoSync and MIMS, let's look at two important areas that we focused on in 2020 to close gaps between MIMS Mobile and MIMS Mobile Lite. SSP are pleased to announce that we have tablet view and tracing support now for iOS and Android in MIMS Mobile Lite. These improvements centre on user interface and user experience improvements and the introduction of a whole new feature to MIMS Mobile Lite. First, let's talk about tablet view. This customer request was included to improve workflow on tablet form factors to really maximise the use of space, create consistency between MIMS Mobile and MIMS Mobile Lite's comparative functionalities. This change supports a similar interactivity between the map and forms that field crews are used to with MIMS Mobile, but it uses those native controls and experiences to maintain a user experience that is appropriate with that device's operating system and form factor. So all forms, workflows, and views have been updated to take advantage of this change.
Thank you, Zoe. So let's take a look. This is MIMS Mobile Lite on an iPad Air tablet. This initial view is what was previously seen in both Android and iOS versions of MIMS Mobile Lite. New in 2020, at the top left of the screen is the icon which opens a panel where you can access your search controls, data settings, traces, and general settings. Previously, these items were displayed over the map view. Now MIMS Mobile Lite takes advantage of the additional real estate provided in the larger tablet form factors. Zoe?
That demonstration leads us into brand new functionality in MIMS Mobile Lite, and that is tracing support. Gas and electric users can now perform the same traces on their iOS and Android devices using MIMS Mobile Lite as can be performed on a Windows device with MIMS Mobile. This is a step further towards feature parity between MIMS Mobile and MIMS Mobile Lite, and as with all other functionality, it uses the same underlying data sources created and maintained by MIMS Gateway.
In this next demonstration, we'll see tracing in MIMS Mobile Lite on an iOS tablet. First, I'll zoom to an area that I want to start the trace from. Once I'm at that location, I'll select Tracing, and we'll start with an upstream protective device trace. I'll select my source location, and since only one location was selected, it immediately initiated the trace and displayed my results in the panel on the left. And if you notice, if I click on one of the trace results, it will zoom to that location. Next, we'll initiate a downstream protective device trace, again selecting my source, and the results are returned. For the last trace, I'll be performing a full circuit trace, again from the same location. As MIMS Mobile Lite is analyzing and returning the results, they'll start to get highlighted on the map. Once complete, you'll see all the features that were selected as part of that trace result. And if I click the spider on the top right hand of the screen, I'll be zoomed to the full extent of the trace results. So now that you've seen some of the highlights of the MIMS 2020 release, what's next? Well, we recommend that you go to the MIMS portal, where we have an extensive knowledge base covering all of the MIMS 2020 functionality, how to configure it, and how to deploy it. Also on the portal, you'll find product videos for MIMS and MIMS Mobile Lite products. And if you don't already have access, please contact MIMS support and we'll get you set up with a login. Next, we recommend heading over to YouTube and subscribing to the SSP Innovations channel, where you'll find great instructional videos on many industry-specific GIS topics, as well as the MIMS playlist, which contains all the MIMS product videos. You should also contact your account rep, who can help you plan and schedule your upgrade, either from GoSync Mapbook or a previous version of MIMS. And lastly, if you have any questions about what you've seen here today or about any MIMS or MIMS Mobile Lite functionality, please reach out to the MIMS support team and we'll quickly answer them for you.
And so lastly, thank you for your time today. Thanks for joining us to learn about what was new in MIMS 2020.